And certainly, if we can briefly touch on trade, trade remain, and this is a country, New Zealand, based on trade, lives of trade, and Europe is very much committed to promote trade. As I said, we are working with the US, with the Japanese, and many other countries, and trade remains for us an engine for growth. When you have reduced fiscal capacity, reduced because you have a high debt, you cannot go in deficit. You use trade. Trade promote growth, and European Union is a key trade partner of New Zealand. The latest figure says that our two-way trade is 17 New Zealand billion in 2013, 17 billion, which makes the EU the third largest partner of New Zealand after China, who is the big, and Australia, who is the second. But the largest investor in New Zealand is still the countries of the European Union. So we are still the one who invests more in this country. And of course, there are many reasons why we invest in this country, because this is a developed country, because there's a lot of things in common, because we have used a common standard, because we are both based on rule of law. We have a lawyer and a judge, so we trust the New Zealand system, and also the outlook of our societies as democratic countries make our life much easier, on the top of any historical links we have between Europe and New Zealand. So if you can sum up what are the many links between the European Union and New Zealand, as usually in diplomatic terms, we always start from the government to government relations, and I think they are very, very good. And Prime Minister Key was in Europe early this year. There's been a very good development on our side. Minister McCall is very active as well as Minister Grosser. And basically, we are negotiating a political agreement between European Union and New Zealand, which will be the first ever treaty-level agreement, which is called PARC, P-I-R-C, Partnership Agreement on Relation and Cooperation. And basically, it's when two partners decide to work together, they also create a framework in which the ministries, the official can work together in different format to make this cooperation even stronger. And we hope that this agreement could be signed very soon. We work quite a lot on foreign policy. I was at the MFAT this morning. We discussed the many things New Zealand is planning to do during its 2 years. The Security Council seat was awarded to New Zealand in New York. We're very happy for New Zealand, and we're working also on energy, on climate change, on security, and many other issues. And we're also working on trade to see if there's our trade relation can go further than this 17 billion. I think we can create new opportunities to go more on trade, and maybe one day also have a trade and investment agreement. So basically, ladies and gentlemen, if I can quickly go to the conclusion, I think 2014, 2015 are years of commemoration of the outbreak of the First World War. Gallipoli, which has been a founding moment for New Zealand, but it's been for us an important commitment on your side. We like to say that our freedom in Europe is also due to the sacrifice of many New Zealanders in the First World War and the Second World War. So we have a close fabric that keep us all together. And Europe is the result of the disaster we made in Europe with the two wars. We need 50 million of deaths in Europe to realize that if you share a continent, you have to share an ideas, you have to share values. It took us a bit long, but we decided to work together and to prosper together. And this is exactly in a couple of words what is the European Union, is how we govern our difficulties. I'm an Italian, so I saw my Roman ancestor governing Europe. We try many ways of governance in the last couple of thousand of years in Europe, and the EU is the last way, the last product, maybe it's a unique product, on how we self-govern Europe, which is a complex continent. And we are very happy that among our friends we can count New Zealand, for the many reasons I said, for values and interests. You know, life is not just a moral aspiration, but it's also a question of concrete interest. And we are very happy that our cooperation is going very well, and we call it a partnership for prosperity, a partnership for security. Thank you all.
Sure, please. Yes. His Excellency will take questions, and so just to set the ball rolling, I would like you to comment, if you would, on the relationship between the European Union and Russia, and whether that particular relationship at the present time is casting a shadow across the plans that you've outlined to us this evening.
So we start with the easy question. Good. I presume you refer to what is happening in Ukraine.
Particularly. Yes.
Well, it's for us.
I suppose if I would like to add the attitude of Vladimir Putin, if you would be able to go as far as that, who devised quite clearly a long-term plan to circumvent the law in Russia and be president a second time by installing somebody else as president and then returning. And it seems that his the path that he's followed is not one that has much appeal.
Allow me not to comment on internal politics and to remain to the first part of the question, which is the relation between the European Union and Russia. In the past 20 years, we have built a very important partnership between the European Union and Russia, which is different from the relation each of the member states had or has with Russia in this very complex. Is a very complex scenario, so I will limit my comment to the relation between the European Union and Russia. We've been working quite closely with Russia. We have a very important economic and trade and investment relation with Russia, an energy relation which is very, very strong, we are supported the joining of Russia of the international consensus. Russia became part of the G8. Russia, we gave our support to let Russia to enter the WTO. Russia has a partnership with NATO, and as a EU we have we had till last year every 6 months. It's the only country we have every 6 months a summit meeting, which means the President of the European Council, the President of the Commission with the President of the Russian Federation. Alternatively, in Europe, or in Brussels or in Moscow, Vladivostok, whatever it is, to discuss the many things we are doing together. It was a plan to go for visa liberalization, scientific cooperation, many areas. And what is happening in Ukraine has cast, that may I quote you, serious doubt on the way the relation should be conducted. We express our great concern for what is happening in Crimea. We declare the annexation and the referendum first and the annexation illegal. It's contrary to the international law, and we believe that we had to support this position with also some concrete real measures, and we adopted unprecedented economic sanctions against Russia, not with the idea to punish anybody, but with the idea to exert political and economic pressure on Russia Federation to discuss and to realize that this way to conduct international relation is do not belong to this century, maybe belong to the past century. Of course, Ukraine is a very complex situation, very complex dynamics there, but certainly our relations are strained at the moment with Russia, so we suspended our summit bilateral. Russia has been disinvited by the G8, and also the cooperation, I believe, at NATO level has diminished considerably. So we consider Russia as is a key partner to deal with Ukraine, but we need a political commitment to find a last and sustainable solution.